Peace. This is your brother from another mother coming to you live and direct from somewhere in the devil civilization. I'll try to make this as brief as possible. And I just wanted to touch on a lot of the drama that's going on in the so-called conscious community with the brother Sara Suten Seti and brother Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson. And to put it out there in the very beginning, I got a lot of love for both of those brothers. And the reason why is because even though a lot of, liberation activity does not occur and take place on the internet is a new phenomenon. And that being said, it definitely has transformed a lot of people who we would not know of to being known and actually showing up in your city, even in your living room. And, I had a relationship with Seti. I haven't had the opportunity to meet him in the flesh, but we did have a dialogue over the telephone because I was trying to get him to come out and do a lecture in an area that I was in, but due to, a couple of situations, for security purposes, we didn't want to bring him in because, the personnel that were involved were like really on some liberation shit, and to bring him into that environment, in an environment that's already getting death threats and, dealing with security issues, we didn't want to pull that voice into that arena prematurely. Umar Johnson, on the other hand, I actually had dialogues with him and, flew him out to an event, on behalf of a sister of mine who, had saw him do a lecture. I saw the tape and I was like, yo, I feel that brother's message. I'm behind you, if you want to, do something. But long story short, family, now they're beefing. And what I find very interesting is that now all of a sudden all eyes are on the conscious community, but in a negative way. Now, why is it that you've had people who have been talking about our condition for the last 20 years, constantly, day in and day out, whether it's the Nation of Islam standing on corners or whatever the case may be, right? We know we are in a fucked up predicament on this planet, point blank period. If you carry degrees of melanin, I don't care if you're high yellow, I don't care if you blue black, if you are a melanated person, you are under attack overtly and covertly on this planet. And what I have a problem with is that now that there's a lot of nigga shit that's being exposed within the conscious community, everybody wants to talk about these hotep niggas and these pro-blacks is full of shit, while y'all sit here and be fucking coons and targets, waiting for extermination. And I can't understand it. Like, at the very end of the day, so what is your solution? If you have so much critique over these human beings who grew up speaking English as prisoner of war Africans in America that are not liberated, and we don't own shit, and under those nigger mentality conditions, they're trying to do something. And of course they're not perfect. But then you got these buck dancing ass bitch ass niggas and fuck ass bitches that'll get on the beat, the crackers beast net, and have all this criticism and all this lip talking about these hotep niggas and these pro-black niggas and these niggas and making fun of these cats, when at the end of the day, look at the platform. I mean, even if I'm a fucking 85% super jackass, who was tied up in the basement for 10 years, I was some little Haitian kid that was smuggled by one of them crackers, and then, I got to a television and I seen this beef shit going on, and I'm looking at Seti's background, and I see all these aunts and all these images, yeah, he might be acting niggerish, but at least these cats have a platform and stand on a certain square. I mean, liberating us is not easy, and then liberating themselves under the conditions that we're in is not easy. There's no reward in this shit. So at the end of the day, my video isn't to critique either one of them brothers. I mean, do I agree with what they did? Fuck no. I'm gonna be honest. I think they definitely need to tighten up. They definitely need to learn some type of etiquette. As Tariq Nasheed would say, a code of conduct, and even he fell flat. Let me get into that for a second. With him and the shit with Tommy Sotomayor. How the fuck do you go and approach this nigga on Vlad TV and, you just look like a straight clown, but yeah, you talking about, revering Francis Cress Wilson and Dr. Neely Fuller. Do you think they would have approved of that shit? And I know for a fact that a lot of our elders were not perfect. I have elders who were in the Nation of Islam during the era of Elijah Muhammad, and a lot of shit was going on through that. I got a lot of comrades that, were in the Black Panther Party. A lot of nigga shit was going on in that. Hell, I wasn't in that era, but from the words that I've gotten, even back during the Garvey era, there was some nigga shit going on. However, you have to update your files, family. You have to update your files. And at the end of the day, we're in a new era. All we need to do is look around us. Now, don't get me wrong, and I'm not, and I know I sound a little animated because I'm not gonna lie, I'm frustrated. But to be honest, what I do want to say is that I think it's because of our arrogance, because we are melanated, even though individually we know we will expire. Individually, we will expire. We will return to the essence. But collectively, as a people on this planet, as the original people of this planet, I think we get arrogant because we're like, even though the one thing that these demonic elements have against us is that they know the flesh is temporary and we value this physical life. So if we're going to live on our knees, then die on our feet, a lot of us would elect to do that because these motherfuckers are the masters of warfare, by any means. They don't even believe in rules. And when you're a person that believes in rules, I mean, they don't have to be strong, physically stronger or none of that, but they do what's necessary to get the victory. But us, on the other hand, we're a spiritual people, and, we'll destroy self before we'll destroy anybody else. And that is an issue, but it is what it is. But I think we get arrogant when we feel like, okay, well, we're going to be here. That's evident. We're going to always, maintain to be on the planet in some shape, form, or fashion because we're the original people. This planet can't survive collectively without us. And that could or could not be true. But what I will say is that at some point in time, just on an essential, elemental level, when you just look at life and matter and things of that nature, there's always a law of responsibility. And, when we put other organisms on the planet in the form of reproducing, and then we don't look at the environment that we're bringing up these children in. Like right now, everybody's talking about the youth. The youth is wilding, the youth is wilding, the youth is wilding. But look at what we're bringing them into. And then when they get online and they see that the people who are trying or electing to make a change, to bring us out of this condition, is on some nigga shit, then what hope what hope do our youth have? So, on that note, I'm going to kind of end it there because, like I said, I'm not really an orator. I always say that, but when I saw this, stream of events, and not just from the debate that didn't take place and all of that, I mean, it's been a plethora of nonstop nigga shit within the conscious community, and you got all these sorry-ass Negroes sitting on the sideline with all this criticism, but these are the main motherfuckers that will, walk right past George Zimmerman, the main motherfuckers that'll turn a blind eye when other people's children are getting murdered in the streets, but then when it's their child, then they want, I'll give you a for instance, family. I got a brother I used to hang with. I was always, a conscious cat, but, I always tried to maintain a relationship with the deaf, dumb, and blind. I had a homeboy. He was, he still ate swine, and he just, was a regular nigga, but he was a good-hearted person. And he was never about liberation, and he was never about injustice. So he used to see cats that got arrested or getting harassed. Oh, you do the crime, you got to do the time. This, that, and the third. He was so naive. So I lost touch with this brother for some years, and somehow I get up with him, years later, and 4th of July, his brother had a firearm, and I guess his neighbors thought that he was going to discharge the firearm in the form of fireworks. So the police came to their home and started beating the shit out of his brother. And my partner, who worked for the city, came to the door in some boxes, and he said the cop drew his gun, put the gun away, and tased the shit out of him and beat the shit out of him. So of course he was trying to get a wrongful arrest lawsuit, and he was traumatized. Being tased at your crib and all of that kind of stuff. I can only imagine. But anyway, so then they got to the point where they were harassing him to drop the lawsuit by giving him tickets, following him to work, following him home. They just got all up inside of his head. But the thing of it was that struck me as odd was because that happened to him. And then all of a sudden it was like, well, what are we gonna do? We need to be doing something because this doesn't make no sense. We need to go against these people with this injustice. Oh, so when it happens to you, then you're concerned. But when it's going on to everybody else, and I don't know if it's because there's an individualistic nature within original people that we have to acknowledge and overcome, and that's probably why we're going through the hell that we're going through. But whatever it is, we have to solve it, family. And on that note, like I said, forgive those brothers. Give them a pass, because I'm pretty sure even in the nigga shit that they're doing, they're far better and then more advanced than these devils that's oppressing us, because it's getting ready to get turned up around the corner. And I think y'all know what I'm talking about. So on that note, peace and black liberation.